Have you ever wondered what Western imperialism looks like through the eyes of those who felt its impact most profoundly? Nelson Mandela, one of the most iconic figures of the 20th century, had a unique perspective on this matter. His critiques, grounded in his personal experiences and the history of his people, offer a compelling counter-narrative to the mainstream discourse on Western imperialism. If you enjoyed this unique perspective and want to deeper into such narratives, remember to subscribe to the SayPro channel. Don't miss out on our thought-provoking content. In the early years of his political activism, Mandela was primarily focused on the struggle against apartheid in South Africa. However, as he grew more politically conscious, he began to see the connections between the injustices in his own country and the larger global system of Western imperialism. Mandela saw Western imperialism as a system that prioritized profit and power over the well-being of people. He criticized the way in which Western nations, in their quest for resources and markets, often supported oppressive regimes and contributed to conflicts in the developing world. He argued that this was not just a matter of bad policies, but a fundamental flaw in the nature of imperialism itself. Another key point in Mandela's critique was the inherent racism of Western imperialism. He pointed out that the countries most affected by imperialism were predominantly non-white, and that this was not a coincidence. He saw the dehumanization and exploitation of people of color as an integral part of the imperialist project. Mandela also criticized the hypocrisy of Western nations who claim to uphold democratic values, while simultaneously supporting oppressive regimes. He noted that these contradictions were not accidental, but rather a deliberate strategy to maintain control over the resources and markets of the developing world. In his later years, Mandela broadened his critique to include the economic system of capitalism, which he saw as intrinsically linked to imperialism. He argued that capitalism, with its emphasis on competition and profit, inevitably leads to exploitation and inequality. He advocated for a more equitable economic system that prioritizes the needs of people over profits. To summarize, Mandela's critiques of Western imperialism centered on its prioritization of profit over people, its inherent racism, its hypocrisy, and its intrinsic connection to capitalism. His insights, while rooted in his own experiences and the specific context of South Africa, offer a broader critique of the global system of imperialism and its impacts on the developing world. Through his words and actions, Mandela challenged us to imagine a world where power and resources are shared equitably and where the dignity and rights of all people are respected.